Ah, letters from the past. You know those things people used to send before we had WhatsApp, email, or even the luxury of passive-aggressively replying with a thumbs-up emoji? These handwritten gems were once the only form of long-distance communication, and boy, did people have a way with words. Spoiler alert, that way was often absurd, ridiculous, and unintentionally hilarious. But before we dive into the hilarious absurdity of historical letters, let me remind you, don't be like the letter writers of the past who couldn't reach their audience fast enough. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Now let's get into it. The epic love letters, swoon or cringe. Let's start with love letters, because nothing says romance like over-the-top declarations of undying love mixed with questionable metaphors. Take, for example, the 18th century poet John Keats, who once described his lover's kisses as tasting like soft, smooth, melting ripe fruit. I mean, John bro, what kind of fruit are we talking about here? Mango? Watermelon? And why does this make me feel like I need a napkin? Then there's Ludwig van Beethoven's immortal beloved letter. It's got everything: passion, longing, despair, and a healthy dose of self-pity. And the man couldn't decide whether he wanted to see his beloved or dramatically expire on the floor while composing his Ninth Symphony. Talk about emotional whiplash. He wrote, "My heart is full of so many things to say to you. There are moments when I feel that speech amounts to nothing at all. Well, Beethoven, I'm pretty sure your speeches amount to more than nothing when they take up 4 pages and include dramatic pauses like every 5 lines. I quit." Letters from the past. On the professional side of things, quitting a job back then was an art form. Take the example of the infamous I quit letter from Roman Emperor Diocletian in 305 AD. Instead of storming out of the imperial palace, he basically wrote, "You know what? I've had it with being emperor. I'm retiring to my garden to grow some cabbages." Cabbages. Imagine a modern CEO doing that. "I'm stepping down as the head of a multinational corporation because my true calling is to grow some organic kale. Wish me luck." Then there's Napoleon's "I'm outta here" letter after being exiled to Elba. You'd think he'd throw in some fighting words, but no, he wrote like a man submitting a resignation letter to a part-time retail job. "I will go quietly into exile and think about what I've done. Sincerely, Napoleon B." Okay, that's paraphrasing, but you get the point. It's like he knew he'd be back soon, so why waste a good dramatic exit? Dear Diary, stop being so weird. Don't even get me started on the bizarre letters people sent to themselves. Yes, diary entries count as letters to your future self. One of my favorites comes from Lewis Carroll, author of Alice in Wonderland. He wrote to his future self as if he were sending a note across time, and it's as weird as you'd expect. "My dear future self, are you as odd as you used to be? Do you still enjoy nonsense? How are the fairies?" Yes, Lewis, your future self is probably even weirder and still wondering what exactly happened down that rabbit hole. But hey, thanks for the trippy stories. The ultimate customer complaint. Even customer complaints were on a whole other level. Take an anonymous 1750 letter from a man who was absolutely outraged by his tailor. He accused the poor guy of stitching his suit with witchcraft, causing it to fit so badly that he was publicly humiliated. He ended with, "May you stitch forever in hell." Harsh? Yes. Dramatic? Of course. But I guess you don't mess with a man's 18th century fashion. So, next time you think sending a text that says K is rude, remember these people were out here accusing tailors of witchcraft and comparing their lovers to juicy fruits. History. And speaking of letters to the future, think of subscribing as your love letter to me. It takes just a second to hit that button, but it'll make me want to send you beautifully crafted, or at least sarcastic, content every time. You know what to do.